have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. You don't really think you'll win, do you? I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 120 of the world-famous Batman on Film podcast. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Jett Ramey, and this feels weird because I don't think I've done a podcast this year, boys.
Yeah,
Justin,
you did.
Ryan, have I done one this year? Okay.
You did the Scooby-Doo Brave and the Bold.
Oh yeah,
a couple months ago.
There you go.
Yeah, I did do that. Okay, all right. Look, I'm gonna go through the quick plugs, and then let's just kind of run this all three together instead of having let's do that. All right, so. Anyway, you are listening to episode 120 of the Batman on Film podcast. Batman on Film is part of the Batman Podcast Network, also the host and sponsor of that particular endeavor. And you can find and listen to all the shows at batmanpodcastnetwork.com. Ryan, I'm probably catching you off guard. You got a show that's on the network that you'd want to mention?
Actually, instead of mentioning a show this time, the Batman Podcast related network thing is that we had a contest a few episodes ago to give away a digital copy of Batman Ninja, and I just wanted to announce the winner of that is Kale11BDHK. He left a really good 5-star review for the podcast, and he said how he's been following Batman on Film for 12 years and enjoys the website as much as he did back in 2004 and absolutely loves listening to the podcast and enjoy hearing everyone's different perspectives and reviews. And he also said that he likes the vlogs and the commentaries. So, man, he just likes it all. So,
Good deal. Thank you, dude.
So if that is you, send either just find the Batman Podcast Network on Twitter at BatPod Network or email us at batmanpodcastnetwork@gmail.com, and we'll get you that download code.
All right. Very cool. If you like what we do here at Batman on Film, just like Ryan just spelled out, all the different things we do, podcast vlogs, op-eds, comic book reviews, film reviews, whatever, covering Batman on Film news, and want to support the site more than just looking at it and listening to it or watching whatever we do, go to patreon.com/Batman on Film and become a patron of BOF. All right. And of course, with me today, are my co-hosts. We're all co-hosting this thing together, and that would be Justin Kowalski and Ryan Haas. All right, boys. What are we going to talk about today? Anything big happen in the Batman world? Oh, we should make a disclaimer. Shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We should. Yeah. Okay. We are going to talk spoilers. We're actually, we're recording this about 4 days? It's a Saturday, and it's going to drop on Wednesday, July 4th. Batman number 50, The Wedding. We have all read it. Yes, we get to read that stuff early. Thank you, DC Comics, for providing us with reviewing copies of all your products. We enjoy that, and we are very thankful. So we've all read it, and we're going to talk about the big deal, or lack thereof, maybe. So, if you have not read Batman number 50, please do not listen to this podcast until you've read it, because we are going to talk freely about this issue. Correct? Yes, we're all on the same page there.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, I'll jump
Start
right
it
in.
off, man. Let's go.
Just to give a little bit of history, Tom King has kicked off this story since Rebirth started, since issue number 1. He's been adding, layers and layers and layers, and after you read this one, you kind of see it at the end of everything he's been putting down over. Gosh, has it been 2 years yet since Rebirth started?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing the long game, and he's still playing it.
Yeah, so we're 50 issues in, I think, minus 2 issues he didn't write for the crossover, and so yeah, it's been a for me, it's been one of my favorite Batman runs in a long while. And
Yeah, it's good.
yeah, and one of the things I like about it is it has been a bit different, but not so different that it doesn't feel like a Batman book. But it's like, oh, he's been going places that have been a little more emotional for Batman and hinting at like kind of changing up the status quo, which had me excited. You know, I was like, okay, you know, if Batman's gonna get married, you know, we haven't seen, well, we've seen it like in Earth 2 and stuff like that, but to kind of see a modern, you know, telling of what would happen.
He's never been married in the current continuity.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the original Golden Age Batman did marry Selena Kyle, but that was like, you know,
That was after the fact, after they had multiple universes.
I've got the issue.
It's a good story too.
Yeah, and it's she dies and all. It's really cool. And he dies.
Spoilers.
Sorry. That's you hadn't read that. That thing is that's like 40-something years old. So sorry, but yeah, it has. But yeah, it's never been married in current continuity. Yeah. Yes.
Well, they kind of dipped into it in the New 52 though with the Earth 2, because remember Robin was his daughter, right? And then she became Huntress. I didn't read a whole bunch of that, but I was a little little aware. But I liked where
even that's influenced by it, because
Huntress, for sure.
That Huntress was the Golden Age Batman and Catwoman's daughter. Yeah, same deal.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but been really enjoying what he's been doing, and you know, every issue's been either it's been weird. Like I get why people don't like it. Sometimes the way he writes is a little repetitive, but I think there's there's kind of this like poetic way of storytelling that he's been doing. I kind of like when you have, you know, different characters kind of saying the same thing, and but it means different things based on the perspective. And they did it again in this issue as well. So anyways, just setting up, I kind of like what Tom King's been doing here. And as we get into the rest of the story, we'll go into how we feel like it played out. But just starting, I really liked how they incorporated all the splash pages into this. They got a lot of classic artists involved, and I thought it was really clever. And it wasn't just like usually they do these anniversary issues, and then like there's 15.
You just have like a splash page at the end. Yeah.
And what they did is they took all the artists. You know, you got everyone from like Tim Sale and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and you know, you have
Jim Lee and Frank Miller and Kubert, and
there's some guys.
And our friend of Batman on film, Lee Bermejo.
Incredible.
Yeah. So we got. Oh man, I think one of my favorites was. Lee Weeks. I think his was towards the end. But anyways, they used all these like pinups, and they just incorporated it into the story of the history of Batman and Catwoman, and so and all variations and iterations from purple suit to kind of the black suit that Jim Lee pulled off about 10 years ago. So every suit that you would have thought of, the dress and everything, it's all there. It all kind of counts. It's all in the timeline based on how they've been telling the story. But overall, the story played out as I expected, but it wasn't what I wanted. I really did want everything to kind of. I guess we'll just jump into spoilers. Batman and Catwoman don't get married in this issue.
They don't get married.
Hey! So,
but I think contrary to like what people expected. I mean, a lot of us were like, "Oh, Joker's going to crash it. Something catastrophic is going to happen." But
wait, hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Let me just say, if you were reading the prelude to the wedding, I'm sorry.
I just read all those last night.
Those had nothing to do with this story. FYI, I texted Bill yesterday. He owes me like 1,000 beers for reading those things and writing reviews, man.
I should have known better.
Not a single thing played off from any of that. None of that stuff mattered.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I hate when they do this, because you didn't have to read those to enjoy this story, and it's just kind of it's kind of. I don't know. It's too gimmicky for me, but but you're right. They were not good.
But it didn't add anything. That's what I was.
It reminded me of the Battle for the Cowl, like side stories.
Yeah.
Like the side story of a side story almost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost made me mad because, the issue going back, you're like, oh, there was a nice moment between some characters. Like, Damian and Selena had a nice moment at the end of one of them. I was like, okay, I would love to see that play out. And then it's kind of like,
well, that doesn't matter now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter now. And it was definitely a cash grab, and overall, none of it mattered. And so, sorry. Just thanks for reminding me, Ryan. It's like none of those paid off. I was like, okay, so when's the Joker going to pop up in this? Anyways.
Well, look, if you want to read Justin's reviews of all of those insignificant tie-ins to Prelude to a Wedding, just head on over to Batman on Film and check them out. So they are there.
Yeah. So there you go. But okay, so sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean you set me up.
No.
Man. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, jump back in there.
It's worth bringing up.
So, well, let's talk about issues 48 and 49 because they lead into it. Those things tie in more to those crossovers than anything.
Yes.
And it's really just how the Joker got to the church, Those are really disturbing. That first one much.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I almost had a problem with like how stoic Batman was in the meeting where Joker just, he shoots the bride. And
I did not like that.
I had a problem. I was like, is he just numb to the proclivities of the Joker now that it doesn't affect him, or he knows that? To me, it was more like he knows that nothing he did was going to prevent that. But still, he's Batman. You want to see him try. Yeah,
and he kind of didn't. So
I don't know what was going on there, man. And so I kind of had a problem with that. But I think the story was more just about how driven the Joker is in his mission. It was a good like reflection of who Batman is. And now that we got to the end of this story, I'm going somewhere. I'm pulling a Rick shoe. I'm getting there. I'm giving you a lot of information but like at the end of this, Catwoman kind of has this like realization, and it's planted there by somebody else, that Batman needs something. He needs a lack of happiness to give him his edge.
Yeah, that's where it started, when it was, can he be happy and be Batman? And I thought while reading it, I did not go to the last page or the end of it to see what happened. I did read it because I wanted to be surprised. And you feel like it's going to happen, you know, when you're reading it, you feel like they're really going to do this, and especially when there's that big splash page where they, Bruce and Selena walk into the room at Wayne Manor together, and they just jump on each other basically, and I'm like, this is going to happen. Yeah. And then, but I just knew that, there was so much weight in that. Can you be Batman and be happy? And there you go,
Yeah. And I would like to see that though. That's the thing. I would kind of like to see how that story plays out. And
cause that's what made me think of it throughout the story. When that was brought up, I'm like, oh, that's a reason for them to do it in the story, to actually, explore that, because I think that would bring a lot of conflict. But,
it's, oh man, it's, okay, would you rather it happen this way? You knew they wouldn't stay together one way or the other, but would you rather it have ended the way it did?
Well, I wonder if this isn't the end.
Well, I don't think this is the end either.
Was it mutual? Let's analyze this here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
In our interpretation, to me, it was more Selena, because she's the one that kept hearing with the Joker, the Joker saying he can't be happy and be Batman. And then you had Holly Robinson, who she goes and gets out of Arkham Asylum to come be the bride's, the best one, whatever it's called, bridesmaid, best woman. Yeah.
Maid of honor.
Maid of honor, yeah. And she says it, basically. And there's always this, this look on Selena's face that it's just fantastic. Like, you can see the gears, the wheels are turning in her head. She's really thinking that,
Well, there's that one panel where, Holly says he always seemed to need his misery, Yeah. Like it was how he did what he did. And that's where she's like, what?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of that was where the whole story changes right there.
So is it she does it? To me, it was like it was more her, and she did it because she knows the world and Gotham needs Batman.
Yeah.
And she that needs Batman, and that's if he's happy and they're together, maybe there's no Batman anymore. And, you know, what do you all think?
Yeah. I like that it wasn't I'm leaving because I'm evil and I'm Catwoman. It really was.
Yeah.
It came from a place of love and her being, you know, selfless, but it was built on the doubt of, I mean, obviously, I think maybe we'll get to like the end, toward the end of the show, you know, the bigger reveal at the end, but, it comes from doubt, and, you know, doubt can mess people up, man. When you start, you know, feeding into things that you don't even 100% know are true, you know, that's how these types of things happen. I mean, obviously it's a fictional thing, but it's a great example in kind of a study of, like, you know, maybe, hey, talk to Bruce. They really should have had a conversation, you know, but,
rather than both writing a letter for weeks and weeks and not giving it to each other until it's all over.
And I guess, I mean, this is a big, you know, romanticized, like, you know, story that's been going on forever. And, there's drama here and all that stuff. But you have to think, like, you're talking to your friend Holly, who's been in Arkham Asylum for, you know, however long she's been in Arkham Asylum, which, you know, I don't even know why she's in Arkham. Why isn't she in, like, Blackgate? But that's a whole other thing. Like, she's not crazy. So,
didn't Batman pull some strings or something to get her put there instead of?
Didn't she get transferred in this?
Oh, maybe.
So. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There you go. So, anyways, like, you can't just go off of a suggestion somebody made, you know, you got to talk to them, but, you know, then that doesn't take us to the story. But I do like that, again, I like that she didn't, like, dress up and, you know, scratch Bruce in the face and take off. Like, that's why I feel this isn't the end. This is part one, you know, end of part one.
Yeah.
And
what about that annual? That's what I was going to ask.
Well,
is that like a what if thing, or is that like,
that's
what's going to happen in this continuity thing?
And I think that was kind of the red herring. Like, of course they're going to get married. That annual, you know, that annual is out there, and that's the proof. And, I'll say
from the first kiss to the last.
Oh man, gosh,
that's where
don't ruin it.
That's
man.
That was in the annual.
No, I know. I love that annual. I thought that annual was great. Like, it was such it was a great story. It was, you know, regardless of how it's been, you know, the life that it has been given after it's been
commandeered.
You know, that's a whole other thing, but it was a good story. And I think that was definitely intentional. Like, oh, this is where they're going. This is the future, and they're married. And I think we can still get there. Maybe we do. Maybe there is a issue 100 of Batman, you know, maybe 2 years from now. Cause King says he's on this till 100, right? I mean, that was kind of his thing. He's like, I've got 100 planned out. And so, we don't know what's going to happen. It could happen. You know, Catwoman has her own series going on right now. Maybe some self-discovery needs to happen. And like in a lot of relationships, how many times do people, you know, break up?
Spoiler for we to mean, For one thing, don't read Catwoman #1. I mean, it says it on the cover.
It says it on the cover.
I mean, okay. So, so just heads up, we may talk a little Catwoman 1, but she leaves Gotham. So, yeah, she skedaddles. She's out of Gotham, so we'll see where that heads. But I thought it was really, really good, and like I said, even though when I read it, and it's like the art is so beautiful, you know, and the writing is very awesome, and then I'm thinking, like I said, this is gonna happen, and then it don't. You know, it doesn't at the end, but you know, of course there's that final part. I don't know if you guys are ready to talk about that, or you want to hold off till
I want to hold off just a bit. There's a few more things to get to, and then we can get to that part.
All right, let's do that.
But you talked about art, like Michael Yannon, the artist on this. He's just fantastic. You know, he did most of the War of Jokes and Riddles, and he's been weaving in and out of the Batman book since it's been on. I just wanted to mention that really quick. He's just a great storyteller. Like, ever since I saw him doing, he did Justice League Dark. He started that. That's the first time I saw him, on the New 52. And I'm just glad he's still around. Okay. He's a super talented guy. I think he did the oh man, what was it? When they did Flashpoint, I think he did the Dick Grayson stuff. They did like a Dead Man. I think he did Dead Man or something like that. Yeah. I could be off. Anyways, I just really wanted to talk a little bit about his art. Man, I'm looking at this as someone who does illustrate here and there. This guy, he had to have been working on this for like 6 months. It looks like, I don't know.
It looks like $1 million.
Yeah,
you know,
it really does.
It's definitely worthy of a, you know, anniversary type of issue for sure.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that as Bill, you mentioned like how beautiful it looked, and it does. It's really good. Like his characters are well defined. They're kind of like classic
that scene,
iterations.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, to be able to capture that look on Selena's face of, you know,
it's crazy.
You know, and also that, you know, that panel of, I mentioned that when they jump into each other's arms, and that's a big, you know, 2-page splash page, and then that when Alfred and Bruce Wayne hug.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, they don't kind of just having regular Batman Alfred dry conversation, and then they just, you know, embrace.
I like how Bruce eats a sandwich in this. I thought that was just like a really, no, for really, I thought that was like a fun, like human touch to this.
Yeah.
You know, how he's just like walking in from the Batcave, and, you know, Alfred just hands him a sandwich, and he's eating a sandwich while they're having a conversation. I like that touch.
That's what I love about, you know, Yanin's art. Everything, even the mundane, just looks really good. And that you need those facial expressions in a story like this, because like you're saying, Bill, I had that same thing when Selena says what I mean, it feels like a photo. Like he really captured like the doubt. And so, anyways, he did a great job. Yeah. I wanted to. I like that it started off. Sorry, going all the way to the beginning with Kite Man.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that Tom King made Kite Man a player. You know, he has like I never knew nothing about Kite Man's story, and so I just like that he was there in the beginning. It was kind of a, I don't know if this is the.
Oh, there he is again. Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of like this is like the third time he's popped up in one of these stories. But this looks like a new version of Kite Man, so maybe it's not the same guy, but it's kind of funny after, you know, Catwoman takes him out. So just the little weavings again of the last 50 issues kind of pop up. I like all the different streets and the rooms in the Wayne Manor named after, you know, classic
that was
Batman
cool.
artists.
Yeah. Artists and writers. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff has been, for an anniversary issue, they did a great job. So I like all the touches, you know, the Englehart bedroom, you know, the Conway bedroom. So it's really cool that they added the history to Batman. So
I saw that.
Like when they do that. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I saw that like Andy Kubert page with you know, the Golden Age old school Batman and Catwoman, and even when it looks great, even when they like showed just that artwork, you know, a few weeks ago or whatever, I'm like, man, I just want a whole series that is like this.
Yeah.
That is just this kind of art, you know, and new Golden Age Batman stories. I think that'd be just really cool.
It would have been cool if they had a page where it's like Adam West and Adam West Bat 60s kind of deal, but you know, I'm not. Doesn't
You know what? I don't doubt that they probably do, because you know what, they put out Action Comics 1000. Like after the next few weeks, they put a Superman special out every week, and it was just more Superman stories. They probably had so many submissions that they had. Well,
those weren't those to kind of end those writers and artist perspective runs on their series before Bendis came in. Isn't that kind of what that was?
No, because some of those stories were just like, you know, if you read Action Comics, you know, 1000, there was just a whole bunch of just nice little Superman stories. And so there's just more of them they put out in those specials. Anyway, I'm saying when they do something like this, they probably get a lot of submissions, like classic.
Right. Probably also covering themselves too, because they want to make sure that they have enough stuff to fill a whole issue.
Yeah.
But here's something that I like. So all the interstitial art, you know, the splash pages that they turned into part of the story, like at first it's so cool because it's this thing that runs in the background through the whole issue. And at first I'm just like, okay, well, what is this? And maybe it's just like a thing that runs concurrently, but the realization at the end that the whole thing you've been reading, the whole issue, is the letters that they wrote to each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was really brilliant. And I think I just fell into the story exactly how they wanted you to experience it, because I was like, I don't know what this is. And then
I didn't know.
at the moment.
I didn't think. I thought it was just, you know, like internal monologue.
Just internal monologue,
yeah.
Because we're so used to it in comics, but then when you get to the end of the issue and you know that in the present time they're writing the letters, and then you're like, oh man, we just read the letter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. You know, that was like super clever. And there's a piece of dialogue from Catwoman that I thought was like one of the best like explanations of what Batman means to people that I've read in a long time. And it's like, it's on the Paul Pope page where it says, a man who, Batman, a man whose power is he's the best he can be I'm going to butcher this. He's a man whose power is he's the best he can be at everything anyone can be.
Yeah.
He's not like us. He's better than us. That scares them, yes, but it also comforts them. And because he's better than us, he will always be there as each night returns. So shall the bat. I just thought that was perfect.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of part of her reasoning that we need Batman,
Yeah.
Gotham needs a Batman. So
Yeah.
some really
And it goes, and it gets followed
stuff,
up. Yeah. And that's exactly where it follows up with the Holly, with the doubt, like after she says that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good,
And that's
they
why-
did a good job
and
doing that.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of appreciate, I've been really critical of a lot of this run, but this issue has really impressed me because they did keep it very, very character focused. There's only a handful of characters in the issue. It wasn't like this grand flashy wedding that the, prelude issues had you to believe with like, Superman's going to be the best man and all this kind of stuff. Like none of that happened.
Yes. See?
I know they like built it up.
They
built
made this
it up
whole
to like
scene with Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne.
We're gonna have all these like every character ever attending Batman's wedding, but then so that was I don't know if that was whatever, but I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it made the storytelling that much stronger. So
Yeah. What I do hope, like let's say, and I don't know, because I do kind of hold out for the just a change in the mythos a little bit, because I would love for there to be a different type of like ongoing story of Batman. Maybe he is married. If they do a wedding, like it would be good for it to actually be a little more not public in the sense like Batman's getting married. All that stuff's goofy. Like I don't want Batman in the cow like getting married.
Well, see,
but,
that's the thing. It's like I was going to ask you all, like, what did you think of that conceit? Like when you learned that they're not going to have Bruce Wayne marry Selina Kyle because he, wants to just kind of, he doesn't want that to be public and stuff, and she's Catwoman and stuff, and people know that Selina Kyle's Catwoman too, so it's more about like Batman marrying Catwoman, and I just think that was kind of interesting that all the villains found that out too.
Yeah.
So like everybody that's a villain knows like, oh, Batman's getting married. It's kind of a weird concept for me to get my head around because
it felt very 1960s Batman.
Yeah, exactly. It did. It felt 60s. And I wondered, like, the villains that know Selina Kyle's Catwoman, aren't they just going to find Selina Kyle and be like, tell me who Batman is?
Yeah. So.
I mean, and it's the whole, and also, so Bruce continues, if Batman's married to Catwoman, but Bruce Wayne, was he still
a playboy
single guy? I mean, how does that, and does she gonna live at Wayne Manor and just hide all the time?
Right. Well, that's what I think.
Well, that's why I was wondering. I was like, I can't wait to see how this actually plays out because we're gonna have to deal with all that. But then they don't have to.
I thought it would be, Bruce Wayne's gonna marry Selina Kyle. I never thought, that it would be. It could be an issue, but hell, it's comic books. You
all it has to be is
right.
Stuff,
there could be some, there could be some gold digger like in the press, known cat thief or cat burglar marries Bruce Wayne. Like it's a story about for 2 weeks in the news cycle and then it goes away. Like, that's, and here's the thing. I feel like if they do move forward, they can do that. They could, it could be a little more public is what I'm saying. Like Bruce Wayne.
Public, a tabloid kind of thing, reality star kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a public wedding later on and we can get over this like secret rooftop wedding and all that stuff. Cause anyways, like, that part's a little hokey. Like they're married, even having the judge there doesn't make sense. You don't need a judge there to, if there's no, no one signed a marriage license.
Well, they were going to sign it. They talked about signing stuff or signing paperwork. I'm like, what are they going to do? Write Batman and Catwoman on
exactly.
It?
Like, where do you live? In a cave.
That felt really 60s to me. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah.
But anyways, I mean, I get like, that's who they really are. He's really Batman, and she's really Catwoman. So anyways, that just it all works in the conceit of the story.
Yeah. It's goofy and you can nitpick the hell out of it, and that's not realistic and stuff like that. They can do that, but I believed it. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever, fine. That's
Yeah. It doesn't change like the story that's being told and the character parts, and so. So I guess we can start getting towards the end of this. I love when Bruce leaps off the building in his tux. That's such a Batman thing to do. Again, he's Batman all the time.
Yeah,
60s Batman even.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right.
And that's the thing. It told me that it was Selina that bailed because Bruce was still there waiting.
Yeah. Well, and you read the letters too. The letters are like, Bruce is like, I can't wait to be a better man and love you and this and that. And then Catwoman's is like, yeah, well now I understand I have to sacrifice. Yeah, and that's when I knew, before that even.
Yeah, man, there was some feels there, man. The whole again, going back to the scene with Alfred, that was a great scene with Bruce and Alfred and him telling him that he's going to be the best man. That was good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Because he tells him, they were there in the beginning and he won't do it without him,
Well, he tells him in the car, he asks Alfred, can I be happy? And, Alfred tries to tell him, yes, you can be happy. And I'm also, to me, it was like, he was questioning, can I do this and still be Batman? Does it take away Batman?
Yeah.
So it's some heavy stuff, and, I kind of I felt bad for Bruce Wayne. I wonder, does Batman go, is he become less like a brutal son of a bitch after this?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was wondering that same thing. Does he go?
Well, we've seen the whole War of Jokes and Riddles thing where it's like, I'm not a good person, this is what I can be without you, kind of thing. So I wonder if that's where they're going to go with it.
So.
Yeah.
Especially once you get to the ending, you kind of wonder, like, this is a larger plot going on.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be. Let's just get to it. So, how did y'all interpret it? I want to hear y'all's interpretations because I was talking to John Beerley, and via a text or email exchange, and we were talking about it. He goes, "What is that? I don't know how to process that yet. I'm still." Still trying to interpret in my mind what that meant. And now the line by Bane is tells you, the bat is broke. So
yeah.
Was this some grand plan? Come on.
Sounds
like
it
makes you think it is kind of a Bane master plan. And as you see, he's got Psycho Pirate with him. So, any one or all of those people could be under his influence. Like maybe they're unwillingly part of it, even if they were good. I couldn't remember exactly where Gotham Girl was.
Catwoman part of it?
No, I don't think she's.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think they're both the pawns because Bane's. So what happens is Catwoman drops Holly back up at Arkham, and she seems to be headed towards. As she even bows before him, so she's kind of like. Under the control, like you said, Psycho Pirate probably has some type of a mental, control that he's placed over her to Bane. And I'm even wondering, are all these people there that are in this? Is this just kind of like here's the cast of players from the last 50 issues? Because part of me, did Thomas Wayne?
Okay, what was up with that? I was about to ask y'all that.
Yeah, the Batman is that Flashpoint Batman? Yeah,
because remember in the Button story, he doesn't he make it out too? I thought did he?
I don't.
Did he time
think
travel?
So.
I have to go back and look.
I think I think he says that he can't go and stuff. Like I think he stays behind, but like Batman wants him to come with him. But I think that's what happens.
So I'll have to. I'll have to look back on that. But it's a very interesting collection of characters, and I think it might just be
and is that Skeets on the ground?
Yeah,
is that like Booster Gold's?
Yeah,
okay.
Skeets. And so part of me is like, well, why does Bane have Skeets? And so I think a lot of it is kind of is more of a hey, here's everybody who was a part of this story. Not necessarily they're all there, Like I don't see.
No, I think they have to be there. I think they're there.
You think Skeets is there too?
I think
so. You think all that was part of Bane's plan?
Yeah.
And if they unravel it, that's cool. The only one that has me scratching my head is Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
I did like a double take on that. Like, okay, why is he there? Why is Flashpoint Batman there? A lot of that, speaking of that I'm going back several issues, but that story with Booster Gold was pretty damn good too. I thought it was.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of people didn't like the characterization of Booster, but there's something going on with Booster, and King kind of alluded to that too.
I hope so, because that was my problem. I was texting Justin. I caught up like 30 issues or something the past few, couple of weeks and stuff, and I was texting Justin. I'm like, I hate Booster Gold. What is this? This isn't Booster Gold.
Yeah. This definitely, there's some type of like mental thing going on with Booster, I think, through time traveling, and he's going to be a part of that Crisis Center story that Tom King's going to be doing, I think in September. So I think some of that stuff will tie in, and they'll explain like, why the heck was Booster acting? Booster's a funny character, but he's not that bad.
Crazy. It was,
Yeah, that was like, wait, so you thought it would be a good idea to what? And so, it seemed a little, seemed off. But there was, that tied into this episode as well. I mean, this issue as well, because Catwoman even references it like, she saw what becomes of Batman without tragedy, and it's not good, right? It's not good for Gotham. And but where I would disagree is if he's still had his tragedy, but he's had a time to heal now. And so as an adult, I don't think Batman would be the mission's still there. It's just like
wouldn't you would assume that they would have talked about all this before trying to get married, but I guess that was the point, is like, we never really talked about it.
Stop writing letters.
Writing these letters. Seriously. It all bottles up.
Have a little pillow
50th
talk.
issue. Yeah, exactly. Well, they had plenty of that too. Like it shows them doing that all the time.
So,
jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a long game, but yeah, man, Bill, I don't know why Batman's there. I don't know. I don't,
and that's okay. We'll finish up with this. I mean, where does this go next? I mean, what? Clearly, like you said,
apparently.
I mean, really, yes, but I mean, this isn't just the end of this deal here. I mean, you can't have a scene final panel like that with all that insinuation and people interpreting what the hell's going on without some kind of follow up. It's coming back at some point. You can't just end.
Yeah, he's playing the long game here for sure. Like even when. Like, you just go back to the end of the first arc, Gotham arc. Like, I think they had all kinds of like future illusion type stuff. So I think that we're still on the ride. I think there's way more to go with this story.
Yeah, I mean, they could like Justin said, maybe they end up getting married at some point. Or who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't say anytime soon. But the next story is Mr. Freeze. So so and that. That's coming out in a couple of weeks. So I don't know, man. It doesn't, the solicitation just says the honeymoon's over for Bruce Wayne. So it didn't really give anything away. It just made it seem like, this is just a question has Mr. Freeze has he been in a story since Rebirth?
He was in Scott Snyder's All-Star Batman.
Yeah, but he hasn't had any type of main storyline now.
That
right.
Yeah, that thing was such its own kind of deal,
Yes.
That you really didn't think about it tying
being in
with
continuity.
Anything else, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
So what I was getting to is so that New 52 Mr. Freeze take that's gone, right?
It seemed like that Snyder tried to reset a little bit of that in his All-Star Batman run, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that was because that was a bad thing they did, the Freeze.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I think everybody didn't like that.
Yeah,
didn't like that. Again,
Oh man, but Matt Wagner is going to be doing the art in a few issues. I'm excited about that.
And Batman?
Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, we got Lee Weeks doing the Mr. Freeze story, and then
on Batman 54, you get it's Batman 54. It's Matt Wagner, and it's going to have like some Dick Grayson and Robin origin memory lane type flashback stuff in it.
Yeah,
and that's for Matt Wagner doing it. That I'm excited about that.
Oh, I'm glad Matt Wagner's coming back to Batman. So
so you're going to get some not palette cleanse, but you're going to get some like non-Batman, like in the nothing that's going to like directly tack onto this story for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to let,
Yeah.
I think, the shock kind of go for a little
Yeah.
bit and then jump. Oh, who knows? I mean, maybe the Matt Wagner stuff is, you know, him talking to Dick Grayson about like all this crap and they tie in Origin. Who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways.
Well, yeah. Look, good stuff. I enjoyed this whole, I mean, the Bat Cat thing, it got a little bit too, got a little too smoochy for me, you know?
Smoochy.
At times, yeah. At times.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've kind of, I have to challenge myself. Do I want Batman to be married and happy? And of course, I say that as someone who loves how The Dark Knight Rises and that trilogy ends when Bruce does have a happy ending. But you know that story was finite. But you know, it's an interesting question. Can you know that King put out there and why Selena ended up leaving is that maybe Batman can exist if Bruce Wayne is happy, and I'd like to maybe like you say, Justin, like to see some of it, you know.
Yeah, let them try,
Yeah.
you know, just to see that the dynamic change would be great.
Yeah. Cause you know, as I was reading these issues and getting to this, I was thinking when I was talking earlier in the show about like, well, it presents a lot of interesting things if they do go forward with it and status quo wise.
Yeah.
It made me think of, you know, the other biggest status quo change I could think of in the last 10 years of comics is when Bruce Wayne was dead and we had Dick Grayson and, you know, Damian and all that, you know, with Grant Morrison and, you know, say what you will about all that stuff. I mean, not having Bruce Wayne be Batman was garbage, but that status quo was interesting and they did a lot of interesting things with it and got a lot of good content out of it.
Yeah. I would say the biggest issue with that stuff was just how Bruce Wayne was taken out of the picture. I think Dick Grayson and Damian was a really interesting, like, dynamic.
Yeah.
But
We should, have we ever did any shows on Morrison's run?
no.
Well, that would be something
I mean,
to look at, yeah.
I think there were a few BOF shows on it, like when it actually was happening, like way, you know, years ago. But it would be.
I'm talking about since,
But not on this
since
iteration.
the reboot. Yeah, okay.
And not since it's been collected, you know, because now we've got the full picture of it.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting era.
Yeah.
You know, very contentious. You know, it was really up and down. Like we liked a lot of the stuff, but then it would piss us off when we would have to like
Yeah, there was some
have to read
good
Final
things.
Crisis to see what happened to Batman.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's do this. I would love to talk that because
Yeah.
I'm like,
talk.
there's some things I really loved that they did during that Morrison's period, and there's some things I just absolutely hated. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, how would y'all grade Batman 50 if you had to give it a grade? And I guess maybe, I mean, can you grade this one issue without tying in the whole damn story? You know, I mean, let's do it that way. This whole story and how it ended in Batman 50. What would you, if you could grade it or just summarize it with your thoughts? What do you think, Justin?
Man, I've really been enjoying Tom King's run, so I'm going to give it an A, I guess, if you want me to give it a letter grade. I'll give it an A, with the has a question mark on the end of it, though. It's an A, but like, what's next? It's not, and here's the thing, I didn't feel like it was that classic comic book wedding where, you know, I didn't know what the ending was going to be, and I had in my brain, like, if it doesn't go through, here's why, and it wasn't even the same, it wasn't what I thought it would be, and so I'm satisfied. Like, I'm just, keep telling me the story. Like, what are you telling us, King? And so that's where I'm at,
that's a good thing. You were surprised.
I was surprised.
The ending ended like you thought, but not the way, it didn't happen the way you thought it would happen. Does that make any
No, exactly.
sense
Yeah.
whatsoever?
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I don't want to.
That's a good story, though.
Yeah,
I mean, when it's not predictable, but yeah.
Yeah.
Surprising to see Bane
I'm with
there,
you on
know?
that. Yeah. I'm with you on that. So I'd give it an A too. I've really enjoyed it. Maybe at times it felt like it dragged on a little too long, but overall, I dug it, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes next. I really am, and I'm glad like that Tom King has got another 50 in him, because it would suck if this ended his run on Batman, and that's how he left it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those classic runs, you know, like. When you start, the modern Batman books have been pretty good. You know, you got what Snyder did, Morrison. Everyone's had their dips, I think, but overall, it's been quality Batman stories the last, good 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan,
Yeah.
what do you think, dude?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been through the last 15, 20 issues in the last couple of weeks. So I've had the luxury of reading it, of binge reading it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not really been the biggest fan of this run. You know, it's up and down for me. There will be one run I really like, and then another run I just can't stand when it gets into the too lyrical or too gimmicky or too like pulling your heartstrings just to pull them kind of things. So some of the arcs work for me and some of them don't. But in terms of this particular story and this issue too, like I really did like how it came together, and the fact that it, you know, it had a lot of, it's pretty deep and it asks a lot of the readers to kind of delve into the characters a little bit more, and it's not wrapped up in a nice tight bow, and I think that's good because that's Batman. You know, it shouldn't be. So I think it's cool. I mean, it's both a celebration of 50 issues of the story of this comic and of the characters, and their relationship over, you know, 75 plus years. So, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I kind of thought it wouldn't happen, but again, I didn't see it happening this way.
I'm with both of you on that. I mean, I'm in with both of you on that for sure. And you know, I think about like, it just came to me, and I know we're trying to end this up, but I just want to bring it up real quick, and then we'll get the heck out of here. But even, you know, Selena asked Holly if she's a hero, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a pretty heroic thing she did, you know?
Yeah.
She sacrificed a relationship with Bruce Wayne, who she loves, for the better of Gotham. So there's a lot of little hints like that you pick up when you read. So I thought it was pretty clever as well.
Yeah. So I'd give this issue an A for sure, because there's a lot to chew on. You know, the story was written really nicely. The characters, there's good character stuff in it. And, you know, I just thought it was well done. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's plug some stuff. And also, you know, stuff you're doing outside of Batman on Film, but anything you've done recently for Batman on Film. There's been some podcasts, and like Justin was writing those awesome reviews for the Prelude.
I wanted an exercise to force me to write some reviews that wasn't monthly. I was like, okay, I'm going to pop all these things out. And man,
they're written very well.
Weekly.
Your annoyance for those comics kind of comes through, which is
see, I was trying to be positive. I was trying to be positive and at the same time have a voice, but
it was
call out my problems. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, you can check those out on Batman on Film proper, the reviews, and I like what I do like about it is I do like to write stuff, but man, I hate deadlines, Bill. I do have a review coming for Black Lightning. That'll be coming out next week. Probably after you've heard this episode, it'll be on the site. So I'm putting some finishings on that. So there you go. We have our Batman 20th anniversary video that will be coming out probably in a couple weeks if my timeline works.
Okay.
And yeah, we just had a great episode with Brian Hill, who's working on Detective right now. Check that episode out. He was a really fun guest. He's going to come back and talk Titans with us because he's writing that show, and so he'll be coming back. A lot of cool things.
That show seems interesting too. I'm excited about Titans.
Oh, Titans! Yeah, I think
we're gonna have to cover that on Batman on Film. I think.
Oh, we definitely will.
Yeah. Hopefully, like when that DC Universe service comes out, we'll have a big episode about it. Because if Titans comes out and in a giant binge watchable block, that'll be kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna come out in fall. It looks like they're pushing everything in late August, early fall. So I'm signed up for the beta on that. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
As to what they're going to let us know. So yeah, man, Batman on Film has some stuff going on, and what I do like is, some of the guys that are starting to write, like I think our talent pool is just growing and spreading. And so I just want to acknowledge the guys that are like, Ryan Lower and Pete and, obviously John Beerley's been writing reviews, like just some good guys writing stuff and different voices. So, just give a little shout out and props to those guys.
Well, Robert Reineke is writing a piece on Dr. Fate, and
that's right, because that came off the board.
that's
good.
Yeah, it did. It's essentially about Dr. Fate and some other stuff, and I'm really looking forward to reading that. So, Ryan,
he always has interesting articles.
What you got, dude?
Yeah, BOF wise, I'd say go back and listen to episode 117, our big giant 3.5 hour show that me and the Drake guys and Pete Vera did on James Tynan's Detective Comics
Yeah, that
run.
was good.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
It
stuff.
just ended. Yeah, so like we covered that whole run in excruciating detail. Because we loved it. It was really good, and it did a lot of service for a lot of the Bat family characters that don't really get the love, and man, there's a lot of great stuff in that arc. So I'd go back and listen to episode 117 if you have the time.
Yeah,
and
our Nightfall episode too. That was
Oh yeah, for sure. I love that. I have gotten so much good feedback from that show. People are like, man, that's like the most polished show you've ever done, or the questions were good, or I need to go back and reread Nightfall and stuff like that. So show episode 115 where we all interviewed. We interviewed Chuck Dixon, about Nightfall. That was a good show too.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
So
what else you got?
Listen to those.
Yeah.
Just listen to those and follow me on Twitter at SMB_Ryan and follow the My Super Mario Brothers movie archive website at SMB Movie or SMBmovie.com. It's the 25th anniversary of that movie, so there's been a whole bunch of it's been in the news a lot. Like it jumped up like 2,000. It jumped up 2,000 spots on the IMDb to be like the number 20 most popular movie for a week or so.
That's funny.
And I've if you go on my Twitter, I've got a bunch of articles linked. We've been interviewed for about the Mario Brothers movie for a bunch of publications. I was in we were in The Guardian, I was in Newsweek, I was in Playboy even. A lot of places.
Hey, Mom.
A lot of places yeah, I know, right? A lot of places interviewing us about that movie and
That's
the legacy
awesome.
it's had over 25 years. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
been kind of great.
Saw that
cool.
movie in the theater too, back when it first came out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, sure did.
Yep.
Did. All right. Go. What?
I was going to say, just remember, buy a Batman on Film 20th anniversary T-shirt.
Yes. Yeah.
T-shirt, yeah. I got the gold version.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Nice.
I'll have to post it on Twitter at some point. But yeah, I got the gold edition with the dark gray. So that was my deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looks good.
Yeah. That was a good looking logo. Thanks, Justin. I got two of them.
Oh, nice.
I wore that to Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
On Tuesday. So
Nice.
representing Batman on film. All right. So that's going to do it.
We need to do we need to do more show. We need to do a White Knight show.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's coming.
yeah, yeah.
We gotta get that going.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff coming. And you know what's going to be coming pretty soon? Maybe, I think. We'll be able to talk some Batman on film news if Matt Breeds gets rolling on this movie here. So, I mean, I've heard some things are starting to happen. They're actually starting to do some hiring. Hiring. Early stages of pre-production. So.
Yeah, and that stuff can go on film for quite a while before they film stuff.
Yeah,
that's where you get your concept art made. That's where you get the ideas of things. Kind of.
Well, you got to bring in all these people to do all that stuff. You see?
To help start to realize.
There you go. We're moving away from scripting. We're getting into that next step. So, but I can't. We'll leave. But I mean, get out of here in a second. But. I really, all the stuff we do is awesome. I can't wait to start talking about a Batman. I mean, it's Batman on film. Let's talk about a Batman movie in production and casting and what the suit looks like and all that stuff. So
that part's going to be fun. That's the fun part.
That's
the slow burn
part. It is. It is that is the fun part of it all. All right.
Anticipation.
All right. So for Justin and Ron, I am Bill, Batman on Film. Authoritative, definitive, the dadgum original.
Right.
I never get to say that. I'm going to say it this time. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Hey now. You've been listening to the Batman on Film podcast, a proud member and the sponsor of the Batman Podcast Network, batmanpodcastnetwork.com. You can listen to the BOF podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, and wherever good podcasts like this one can be found. Want to advertise on the BOF podcast? Go to advertisecast.com/the Batman on Film Con podcast. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film and on BOF's Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Jett.BatmanOnFilm. Email Jett via Jett@batman-on-film.com. For Jett, Rick, Justin, and Ryan, I'm announcer Rachel. Thanks for listening.